You don't do a lot of covers, but you seem to have an appreciation for Bruce Springsteen, Racing in the Streets. Tell me about how that came into Beautiful Day.
That song was, when I was after Bandera, I signed this big Nashville deal with Warner Brothers, and it was just a nightmare. And I hated it because they wanted me to change and be like this kind of commercial country artist, and so we were just banging heads, and I was in my late 20s. Yeah, right. So I would spend my days, my off days, I'd go over to Guy Clark's house in Nashville, and Towns Van Zandt would come over, and so we'd go down in Guy's writing room, which is in his basement downstairs, and Guy and Towns and I would start drinking whiskey at about 8 o'clock in the morning, and it was really cool. Guy and Towns, and but Guy had this kind of game. It's just like, we have to pass the guitar around, and everybody has to sing their favorite cover songs, So it turned out, other than like Towns did a great, Dead Flowers, and you'd be surprised what Towns would come up with. I mean, he'd sing like Elton John and stuff like that. It's just like, but it turned out.
Did Towns ever do Eminem?
No, he didn't. Yeah, but he's been a lot of trailer park girls going around the outside.
I'd love to hear the Towns Van Zandt versions of Slim Shady.
I would love to
too.
They're actually the brethren, I think. Yeah, but so it turned out that we all had this mutual love for that song, Racing in the Streets, and we did a lot of these the old Springsteen's stuff, like Atlantic City, the stuff off Nebraska. It's just like the acoustic records, and. So a guy was just like, man, we were drunk one morning and drunk one morning, and
that's a nice ring to it.
Yeah, and so I did. I sang Racing in the Streets, and he was just like, man, you got to put that on a record one day, And so that was 20 years ago or 15 years ago, something like that, and so this record came up, and I kind of realized, in every one of my records, there's this kind of a long narrative song. It's just like whether it's Loving County or John O'Reilly or and this record just didn't have that, And so I thought about Racing in the Streets, and I thought about the promise I'd made to Guy that I was going to do that song, and it seemed like that song at the end, because it's such a summertime record. This is, hence the cover, and I wrote it in the summer, we recorded it in the summer, and. But it just seemed, the racing in the streets was very kind of analogous to what I was going through, on the coast with my boats and everything, and kind of getting away from things, and it was about kind of the relationship blowing up, but there was still just something so cool about that song. You just wanted to be out, with Bruce, like just hauling ass, driving cars, and stuff, and it just seemed like it kind of encapsulated the rest of the record. It was kind of like this addendum to the record that kind of like, I call it the Cliff's Notes to the record. It's just like that it kind of sums it all up.
I'm going to ask you to play Nothing Better to Do in just a moment, but I have to ask you how Trey Shackelford's life changed after you mentioned him in that song. I always thought if I interviewed you, I'd love to know what became of Trey Shackelford.
He's still he's still in Bandera. All my buddies are still in Bandera, and I still see them. And to me, I'm not this kind of famous music guy or anything like that. I'm just the.
How much did they love you for putting them in the song, though? I mean, that was so cool.
Well, they asked if they were going to get any royalties from it, and I said absolutely not. And so yeah, no. But I can afford to buy him something other than Schaefer.
You've moved past Schaefer beer. Yeah. All right, next song I want to ask you to do, Nothing Better to Do. Tell me a little bit about that.
This song, kind of funny. This is a buddy of mine's song also that kind of fell into that Bobby Bare Jr. Bobby Bare, of course, Sr. is one of the greatest songwriters ever. This song, that I chose to do this song, it's just like that. That Emily and I had split up, and I was, dating, if you will, and getting quite good at it.
The dating, or the if you will?
If you will, let's just put it that way. Yeah. So that there was like 9 years of marriage where it shows it just like, God, hun, if I wasn't married, and then it was just like all of a sudden it's like, I'm not married, so. hun, come back to the show again. So anyway, no, and so there was a lot of what was the movie Almost Famous? Band-Aids, but there was a lot of females that helped me through the rough time.
I got you.
I'm healing,
Comfort, Texas.
Spiritual, yeah.
Comfort, Texas.
Yeah.
You use a line, and obviously I know what it means, but I'm curious to explore it. You say you're more into me than I am into myself. You care more about me than I do myself. What does that mean?
At that time I was just I was floating along, and that was just like the best thing I could do. It's like I wasn't I cared about the music and everything, but it's just like as far as socially and romantically and whatever, it's just like that. I really didn't, I wasn't going to put any label on anything. It's just like that. I was, into the moment, if you will, and so I'm in love with you because I got nothing better to do, and so.
And you're not really your type anyway. All right, nothing better to do on the CD. Beautiful Day, Charlie Robison.
I woke up early today and thought of 7 different ways to like myself less than you do, for any reason, false or true. Now you dig me more than I dig myself. I got nothing better to do. Yeah, I got nothing better to do. Well, I just dig for sympathy for any reason, pitifully. You smile miles more than I do, so I just bounce me off of you. Now you dig me more than I dig myself, and I'm in love with you, 'cause I got nothing better to do. Yeah, I got nothing better to do. Here you are again, and here I am too. Two parasite hearts coexisting.